So next up we have Kapil Chukral, who is the Assistant General Manager of Digital Marketing at Tally Solutions. Tally Solutions is a leading business management software provider. Kapil Chukral is an experienced hands-on business leader with multi-channel expertise and strong technological acumen. He has diverse experience of over 11 years in demand generation, inbound marketing, and sales operations across product and service industries. He'll be speaking today on demand generation through content experiences. Please get hitting the liking button and welcome him on stage.
Okay, thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks a lot, Saloni. Thanks a lot, Clement, also for inviting me. Today, I'm going to discuss about a topic which is near to my heart, which is demand generation. I'll just share my screen. If you can just confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see this.
Okay, so perfect. I have limited time, so I'll just get through with it. We're going to talk about demand generation, and we're going to talk about demand generation with respect to content experiences. This is before we start, I just want to give a context that this discussion we're going to talk about in terms of B2B, in the context of B2B product. I understand that the intent of a user, intent of a consumer, and how they express it for a B2C product is different, and the way marketers approach a B2C versus a B2B consumer is different. So the discussion we're going to have today is very specific to a B2B product. As the name suggests, it is pretty straightforward. You know, any activity that you do which generates interest or demand in your product or service is demand generation, and that's why this is one of the easiest topic to speak about. Because whatever you're doing right now in marketing, in sales, in product, every function, you're right. You're perfectly doing the right thing to do when it comes to demand generation. And the reason we are discussing about demand generation is because right now there is abundance of, you must have seen a lot of presenters presenting about ad tech and other areas where, in terms of personalization, in terms of conversation, where today we can reach out to consumers. And today is a time for abundance. Where there is a lot of things, and especially with today's ad tech, you can reach the right person at the right time, with the right intent, with the right message, and with the involvement, the evolution of the content messaging itself. There is an abundance of everything we can go and we can do to generate demand. But what has happened over the past few years is that people started realizing that ads were annoying. But surprise, but ads were always annoying. But what has happened, and it was nobody's fault, right? So our expectation changed, and that's why ads turned out to, or were called out to be annoying. If you look at traditional medium, which is television, outdoor, print, we didn't have a choice. When we were looking at a television serial, or if you're going through a newspaper, we're just walking through, we accept that there is going to be a commercial, there's going to be an ad, there's going to be a branded content, and we accept it. But when we started consuming digital content over the last few years, we realized that as a consumer, we realized that we have a choice, and we chose not to consume branded content. And the moment we got a choice, we said, okay, how do I do, and what do I do beyond what I'm doing right now? So make sure that I don't consume branded content. And as a result of that, what happened was that your best consumers that you would want to reach out to, they're choosing not to see an ad, and they're paying not to see an ad in form of OTT subscriptions, news publication subscriptions, YouTube. You have ad blockers everywhere, and beyond just you not able to reach the right consumer through performance marketing in general. The other problem was it being annoying. You know that if you are presenting a content in a form that the other consumer, 50% of other consumers are saying that, I don't want to see this. Please don't show me. This is very annoying, and it's a dissonance for me for whatever I want to do. You have to find a better way of reaching out to consumers, right? And even, as I said, even with today's ad tech, it was even with the right intent, with the right time, with the right message, you would want to find another ways of reaching out to consumers. And that is why a lot of companies in the last few years, they started spending money on content marketing, I mean, including SME. And you would see a plethora of new companies coming up, helping brands create content. Video content got big in the last few years. And so we suddenly started creating content. Now what has happened is that now we have a sea and we have overwhelmed consumer with content with a single focus of creating visibility. So let's say we decide to search for demand generation as a topic, right? Both on YouTube or on Google or wherever you want to search for. You will have hundreds and thousands of pieces of content on demand generation. And everything, and obviously within, and everything will be a copy paste of everything else. And it is just the same content, very stale. So all content is visible, but not all content is useful. And this is a crossroad that we feel that B2B businesses will come to eventually. Because right now you would want to talk to your best customers, so best prospects, business prospects. While paid media is turning out to be an annoyance, at least in some form. I mean, not completely, obviously. And content marketing is just overwhelmed with a lot of content that is just visible and is not really useful. And that is a problem with demand generation today, and especially digital marketing. I mean, for this discussion, we'll keep the discussion to digital marketing and marketing in general. So, as a marketer, how do you make sure that your brand story goes out to the right customer that you want to reach out to, and does form the idea of a content experience? Obviously, the content experience is not a new concept; it's been there for a few years. And content experience is interpreted by different brands and different marketers differently. And obviously depends on the business objective. A lot of brands are working on creating interactive videos. AR is picking up. We've seen a lot of discussions on AI, on how you can personalize the experience across the decision journey for individual consumer without investing or without spending a lot of time or effort in creating content. We interpreted it differently. Okay, so what we thought, and I'm sure it is true for a lot of brands, where you will have multiple streams of content. I mean, you will have your digital marketing content, you'll have a trade marketing content, you'll have a sales team creating content, you'll have a product team creating content. What we thought and what we decided to do was that we said that instead of looking at content as a stream of content just to get visibility, and just to create content so that we become part, or we tell our brand story, let us be part of the conversations that businesses are having, right? And so what does it mean? It means that during his business cycle, so the moment someone sets up a business to starting renting his first office, to purchasing a software, then having a problem with the software, or want to upgrade, want to move to a different software, want anything to do with business in general, having a problem in filing taxes, or expanding a business, or opening a new godown. Every conversation that a businessman has, how do I become part of that conversation in the way or form that he or she wants to have that conversation? So I'll give you a very small example. We talk about, and we've been talking about AI, and we've been talking about self-support system, and support is one of the biggest component of any business. We looked at a conversation which is, let's say I want to buy a product. Let's say I want to buy Dell, and while we go through, while we have self-support systems, obviously we have, you can buy on a website, you can have a live chat, you can purchase. And you can find a partner from you can purchase. But the idea was that apart from this, let's say somebody wants to purchase and somebody wants to ask a question, or somebody's having a problem, and he picks up a call, and he picks up his phone and he dials a number. As a human on the other side, if I am dialing a number, what do I want to do? I don't want to go and press 1 or 2, because as a human, when we pick up a phone and call, right, we want to talk to someone. And our consumers are also intelligent beings, right? They know that if they want a self-support system or a self-help system, they will find a self-help system. But if they have a trouble and they're calling and they've gone through a trouble of picking up a call, picking up a phone and calling, they would want to talk to someone. And that's why we decided we'll not have an IVR. That was a very bold choice, but we said we'll not have an IVR because that's a friction that you're causing. That's the way he wants to have that conversation. He wants to talk to someone. Who are we to say, no, you will have to go through, self-help system first, and then probably after 5th or 6th iteration, once you press 1, 2, 7, 9, 8, 10, after that we'll call you. And we've gone one level ahead and said, if you are the same customer calling from the same number, most likely you will talk to the same person every time you call, right? Because it's a conversation we want to have with you, but it is on your terms, not on my terms, because it is your choice. And what we have done is that we have replicated that personalization and that concept of conversation across our content marketing. Obviously, we have content. Obviously, we create content. To become visible everywhere. Through the decision journey. What we also do is that we make sure that the content that we are creating, it is useful, not just visible. And it is useful in a sense that this is a conversation that the person on the other side, which is a human being, wants to have, and not just because we want to rank for GSTR1, we'll just not write an article on GSTR1. We'll find out what is the problem that he has and what exactly will he want to know, and basis that we create content. And whether he wants to read content on as a text content or a video content, basis that we create content. Okay, that's an idea on content experience that we do. There are few filters that we put. First thing we did was we broke down the silos. As I said, that there would be teams creating content for trade marketing. There'll be teams creating content for digital marketing, and there'll be teams creating content for sales. We said that we need to have a single source of truth. What does consumer want to know? Even before need realization. I'm not talking about as a customer. Even before need realization, he's not even a prospect. What does he care about? And how do I become part of his conversation in this sea of overwhelming content that he's already have to go through? Okay. And so we created single sources of truth. So we removed duplication. We said that we'll only talk about what is necessary and what is useful to him. Okay. The second thing we did was that we said that it's not important. While it's important to be visible, and while like every other company will have 15,000 keywords and we would want to be in Google top 5 or Google top 3 or Google top 10, and same with YouTube. But we said that how do I be visible and be useful? So instead of having the army of content creators churning out content every day, we said that as I said in the previous slide, that if I were to find out what are his real challenges or his real behavior, I can create content which is useful to him. So this is being visible and being useful. The third filter that we put is that, and I think this is a trap we all usually fall in. When we started creating content, we looked at, and the first thing we look at is the keywords being more searched at, and we said, okay, these are the places we need to be visible on. And what we decided was that was not enough, because it's good to say, okay, I'm Google top 3, or I'm getting so many views, or I'm getting so many impressions on my paid ads, or I'm getting so many views on YouTube. But I want to be part of every step of his decision journey, because I am not here. I am not just being there sometime and then I'm out of mind. So we decided that we need to be part of every conversation. As I said, that the moment he set up his business to the moment he started using our product, so that's why we said that we need to be part of every conversation. So we started creating content for every conversation. So I'll give you an example of, so we obviously create content on how to set up a distribution business in Dubai. And when we create that content, we don't just create content, okay, because we need to create that content. We said that if somebody is asking that question, how would he want to consume that content? Will he will he go and read about it, or is he more likely to go on YouTube and see a video about it? And basis that, decision is taken on what kind of content we'll be creating. So this actually helps us not only be visible, but be part of their business journey. And I think in some sense or the other, it helps us create that demand much before need realization, before they even decide that they need a product like us. They decide, and even when let's say there's a need realization, we are more likely to be part of the consideration set because they've been interacting with us earlier in a more useful content, as I said, in that terms. And even if we are not part of if we're not part of consideration also, even then we would want to be part of their business cycle, because we want to, and that's why, as I said, in our IVR, in our call system or in our live chat, there is no customer authentication. So if you come and ask any help, if you say I want to purchase, or I'm looking for this problem, or I'm having this trouble, there is no customer authentication. We listen to you and we said, okay, great, you want to have this conversation, good, we are all ears. How can we help you? So that's the core idea of content experiences that we have worked on. And so yeah, obviously I'm sure that a lot of you will ask it, a great idea, but I think this is financially not possible to do. So yes, we do have some tracking in place to make sure. The way it works monetarily for us is that we don't create a lot of content across us. We don't spread ourselves thin. We create content at every stage, as I said, in that context. So instead of spreading ourselves thin, we know what exactly we need to create to solve the actual human problem of the actual human, which is on the other side. Right. These are the few areas, or these are the few areas or metrics that we use, or measures that we use to find out, what is whether our content is working or not. Obviously, it is nudged upon one stage to another stage, if that person is moving from one stage to another stage or not. Right. That's it from my end. I'll see whether. As I said, this is a very easy topic to speak about. But yes, if you have any questions, please let me know. We can address that question.